Okay, here we are back inside MatrixGold once again. Thanks for tuning in. I hope the videos are helping you in your designing process. If they are, please go ahead and smash that subscribe button, tap on the notification bell for further content, leave me a like, and please take 5 seconds and drop a comment in there. Really appreciate it. Also, if you'd like to buy me a cup of coffee, it's right around this area. You can go ahead and do that there. And today what we're going to be doing is going in and talking about Clayoo some more, continuing on our series. And we've already did a pen face from curve and curve from two views. So if you haven't seen those videos, you can check those out. And today we're going to talk about Loft. It's not a lot different than our Loft in the MatrixGold itself, the parametric Loft or the non-parametric Loft, but there are a little bit of differences in order to tie off all the loose ends and follow up on everything. I do want to do one for Loft. So if we go down here and select Loft, I'm going to select in order. So I want first wait for Loft to activate, which will be when your tools here pop up, right? In any screen you click in, they will be activated in. So I'm going to pick in order. So see, it select curves in order, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then right click to get the surface, and we have our surface out here. And I'll change to this layer here so we can kind of get a little bit better look. And you can see my surface is kind of a little jacked up. Why is that? It's because all my seam points are in a lot of different directions there. So my center one is right over here in the north position. So I'm going to left click and then hold down and then just drag this over to where it's close to the center there and release. And then I'll do the same thing here, left click, drag, and release. And that one looks like it's good. And then this one here, we'll drag it over so that's kind of pointing in the same direction as that one and release. Now there is one thing you might want to do is go to your top view and kind of look down and kind of make sure, like this one's over a little bit. So if this one was over, you can see my curves are going not in a good direction. So you kind of want to make sure that they're as close as possible to get everything lined up very nicely, right? So you're not probably get it perfect, but the closer the better, right? And once you get that, you should be good to go. So the next part would be, we have a open surface, we can see through it, and we want to close it off, right? So we can just hit close and it'll just take it from our last curve to our first curve and close it up, and we can manipulate faces from this point here, right? Go ahead and manipulate the faces. The less is the better usually for Clayoo, but you can change those up, right? The last couple things here is we have it set up so this is open and that is open. That one's up a little higher, so that's our last curve. So that would be our cap end, right? And we can click on cap, choose which kind of cap we want, polygonal or a nagon. And I'll just do a nagon on this one here, and then we'll go up here and do a polygonal on that one there just for fun. And there you go. That's pretty much all there is to it. And then if you just hit OK, you have an item that is closed off. We can go to smooth mode, and you can kind of see what we got, and you can start doing manipulation, picking faces and curves and points and everything to do kind of extracting whatever. So you got a nice little cup or plant holder or whatever you want, right? Really not a lot there, right? So we'll just go ahead and get rid of that, and we'll go back to grab these curves and get rid of that, and we'll switch out of Clayoo for a second here, and we'll do a little item using Clayoo Loft and manipulating it in Clayoo itself, right, using other commands, right? Very simple ring. Let's go ahead and get my viewports all restored back to their norms. I guess the first thing we'll do is we'll just grab a rectangle, and we'll choose the one from center, and of course I want to switch it to our creation layer, and we'll go from F4, and I will make sure that I have rounded checks. So we'll just make a little something out here, something maybe like that there. So it looks like a little bow. We're going to make a little ribbon or bow ring, right? So that's kind of the center of our bow. And then what we'll do, I think the best one to use is smart curve here. And we'll turn on, O-snaps are turned on, but I don't see them anywhere. Oh, O-snaps turned off. There they are. Okay, and I have quad on. So I'll go from close to on, symmetry to horizontal, and then snap it here. And it's not giving it to me. I'll right click, bring it back, closed, horizontal. And there we go. We have our little, and it just makes the ribbon pretty easy, right? Just with that one tool, right? And all you have to do is 2 clicks. And we'll say, I don't know, something like this should be okay. And we'll right click to accept that, right? So we have our ribbon. Now we can manipulate it if you want to. Turn on your gumball there, and we can make it bigger, or we can make it wider, whatever you want, right? We'll just say, we'll say this is good. I'm going to move it out just a smidge away from my curve there real quick. And then I'm going to go to move, select this, hit enter, and then I'll select that quad, and then just kind of snap it right up there, right? And then we'll take that and we'll do a rotate from that quad, holding down shift, and just rotate it something like that, so we can get the top of our bow. And then we'll take that and transform in our X direction, not our Y, and then hit enter. So we have that. Now we need to get our surface here, right? You could do a loft, but you don't have a lot of control over making adjustments and stuff like that, trying to do it with NURBS and poly surfaces, right? Well, you could turn on your surface editing points and stuff like that, but Clayoo's much quicker and easier, I think. So we'll just go ahead back to our Clayoo here, and we'll activate Clayoo and wait for it to pop up so we know it's activated. We'll go to creation, and we'll go to loft, from this curve to this curve to this curve. And I must have clicked off Loft somehow. So we'll go back to Loft. There's my box. Now we should be good to go. And we'll select this curve to this curve and then hit enter. And we have something like that out there. We'll go to box mode there. And we need to, definitely, we don't want any, let's click it all viewport. We definitely don't want it closed. So we're going to caps, we're going to just turn off for none and none. And then we need to up points, right? So let's take this one first, maybe around 11. That should be fine. Yeah. 9 or 11, something like that. Let's try 9. And 9's not no good. 10. 10 looks good. It gives me that little edge right there, which is good. And then this one will take up something like, I want one in the center here. Something like this here. And we'll just say this is good. All right. And we can start to do some manipulation. But if we do start manipulating it from this before we shell it, sometimes we get, after you manipulate it and you go to shell, it'll give you some, excuse me, some strange surfaces. So it might be good to go ahead and do shell at this point. So let's go ahead, select this, go to our edit, and let's go ahead and do shell. And it's coming, I think, on our inside. Yeah, it's coming on our inside, and we get a lot like that. So it's probably better to take it to the outside of our item there and make it as thick as you want. Thicker for right now is better because we're going to thin it down later. And if you go to the smooth mode, you can kind of get a little bit better idea. So we'll just go ahead and say this is good for what we want right now. All right, and I'm still on my whole item mode, so I'm going to move it out just a little. And I'm going to take this curve, turn it to this color here, and then take all my yellow, change it to gray, and hide it. Well, I need to change this to green and then hide that gray so it's not in the way, right? All right. So let's go in here and start manipulating. Usually bows, one side is flared out and the other side's tucked in. So that's what we'll probably do first. So let's go ahead and let's just do faces here. And I'm going to select that yellow curve and kind of bump it out and just kind of go through there and drag these out a little bit. I want a little shape to it. So something maybe along these lines here, something like that. So when I look down at the top, I can kind of see that it's kind of, I'll go to my point mode, points. All right. Points on, and we can, you can continue to manipulate this however you want. Something like that, maybe. And let's see, let's grab these two here and kind of bump them out a little just to give it a little more shape as well. So we got something like this going on. Maybe these two down here need to go out a little more. And maybe this one here. I mean, it just really depends on how you want to set it up. That top edge is looking kind of, so we'll grab this one and this one. Sorry, I hit the wrong button there. This one and this one. We'll bring that one in a little, and we'll bring this one in a little, so it'll give us a little bit more character. All right, something like that perhaps. And if you go down to shaded, you can kind of see where we're going with this. All right, so let's go back up and continue manipulating because there's a lot more we want to do. Now these ends usually are kind of wavy too, right? So we'll just go grab a couple points and kind of just make it a little bit more natural shape, right? So something like that. And then these here on this side, they kind of get tucked back in, right? So just grab them and kind of move them in a little bit because they don't get shown from the top, right? And we can select these two and maybe bump them out a little just to give it more character, right? So we have something like this going on so far. And if we go back to mode, you can kind of see what we got going, right? It's kind of flat right there, but we're going to manipulate this some more. So let's go to line mode here. And we could probably do it with these curves here, but we'll go ahead and add some in. So I'm going to grab this one here, and then we'll go to our selection and just grab that whole entire loop, and then go to all viewports, and then we'll go to split, and I'll disable my snaps and just do something like that. So we just added two more in there, right? That are close together. And I'll take that one in the center. I'll select that one, this one, and we'll just kind of bump that in. So it gives us a little indentation there. And then I'll grab this one over here and maybe move it over this way a little. So we get a little pinch action going on in there. And then I'll do the same thing to this one just a little bit, not as much. And this one a little bit so that it kind of goes up like that, right? And now what I'll do is go to my points, and let's say we'll take this one here, this one, and this one, and just kind of drag them over to this side. So we got something, we'll go back to our object, and we got something like this going on. So it kind of looks more natural, right, for the most part. And now we can continue to keep manipulating it as we see fit. So we'll go to face mode at this point, and maybe we can go to edge mode. Maybe take this edge here and kind of bump it up a little. Maybe take this face and bump it down some. And we could take this one and maybe bump it out. So we're just kind of playing around trying to give it a little bit more character, right? So something like that. Something like that, just however you want to manipulate it. So that kind of looks okay, I guess, for what we're wanting. So we'll just say this is good. I'm not going to play around with it. I could sit there and really go at it, and I'm sure you can too. So we'll just say this is okay for what we want to work with today. Yeah. All right. And so we'll turn off Clayoo. We'll go ahead and select this item. We'll go to transform, and we will go to not center. Why do I always do that? We'll go to mirror, and that will take that. All right. So we got our little ribbons on both sides. Now we're going to take this item here and we're just going to extrude it down a little. And there's lots of ways to close this off however you want. I'll just go to surface and we'll do a patch, and I will select that extrusion edge and then right click to bring up my pop box and then hit preview, and I got a little bump there. And I have it set at 70. I don't think I need that many, but 10, 10, and 2. And we'll just go OK. And I don't think these will join together, but we'll try. Might get lucky sometimes. And we did. So now all we have to do is just take that surface there. Oh, it did not join them together. Okay, so we'll get rid of this bottom surface here, and we'll take this curve, and we'll just go ahead and delete that. And let's switch this to another layer real quick so we can see what's going on as we do it. And we'll come down here to Object and do Border or Dupe Edge, and hit Enter. And then we'll select that edge and extrude it down something like that. And then we can join this together. You can, if you wanted to, is take this one, and if you just want that same shape on the other side, go to turn Y off and then turn on Z. And now you can see we have it there. So depending on how you want to close that off is totally up to you, right? So I'll delete that. We'll just square it off like this. Join these together. Cutting objects, no, I want to join, and then we can cap, surface cap, and then make sure there's no dupes, which there is. That's this one that's not closed, and there we go. Okay, so we have this out here, right? And now we want to maybe bring this one in and kind of make it look a little bit more closer to our, and we could always go in here and build that up a little bit if we think that's necessary to set it up however you want. So we'll just say this is fine. All right. And there is one other thing before I forget. See, we have both these kind of going the same direction. So I'm going to hide this one real quick. If we take this one, we can always go to rotate, right, from F4, and then hold down Shift, copy yes, and then swing it around to the other side. And now we have the open side on this side and the open on this, and it looks a little bit different, right? So I kind of like this one too. So we'll just leave that one hidden. Well, I'll take this one and turn it to this color and turn it off. Let's bring back this, and I'll turn it down to this color and then bring this one back and put it back on that same layer. So now this side's open and that side's open, but you can set it up however, right? And if we go to, there's our ribbon, right? And we can do some more manipulation on it. So let's go back to here, the shaded mode. And we could go to our curves, grab a arc direction, and we can, with snaps turned off, which they are, we can go in here and kind of just make a little arc going in here. And we can come over here and make a little, I'll do that again. Something like that, right? And then go back to Clayoo, turn on Clayoo. Okay, let's turn on Clayoo here. And then we want to go to creation, from two curves, right? This curve, and hit enter. And we'll go to box mode so we can kind of see what we're going on and give it some shading. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go ahead and tap out some more. A few more. And we'll put that many there and hit OK. All right. And then we'll just take that, go to our edit, and we will shell it. That'll be our item here. Do I have 2 out there? Hit enter. Okay, let's back out. I think I have 2 of these. No, I don't. Okay. Let's go to here. Yeah, only 1. Okay. Select this, go to edit, and go to shell. And now we have our shell out there, and kind of make it the thickness that you want. Maybe something like that. Maybe a little bit more. There we go. All right. And now we have this, and we want to, we got something like that, kind of blasé. So let's go in here and do some more editing on it. So we can do that same thing, pinch type thing we did, right? So we can select, let's do points. Well, first let's do that drop down. So from here, 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 yeah, we'll do here. And we'll just kind of drag that down to give it a little drop. And then we'll just go to points, and we can select this point and kind of maybe pinch him over, and then select this point here and pinch him over that way. So we're kind of just making that little rib thing there, right? Clayoo object, pinch him over. Let's grab this one, pinch him over. You could go to scale 2 and do it that way as well. And we'll do this one just a little bit. Give it a little bit more flair. All right. And let's grab a curve here, and or line. Now let's do faces. We'll grab this one and this one, hold down shift and this one. And let's kind of drag them in a little bit, just something like that. And let's see what we've got going on here. Yeah, there we go. All right, maybe a little bit more manipulation. So let's go back. Let's select this face and pop him up a little. Let's select this face, pop him up a little. And let's select this one and kind of maybe pop him out. And again, you can play around with this all day long. Maybe just a smidgen more. Grab this one, we'll go out, grab that one, just out a little. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so something like that perhaps. And once you get it the way you want it, which, I mean, there's you could sit there and play it. The problem with doing Clayoo is you're never really totally satisfied. You always want to do more. You can always find something else you can do on it. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and say this is cool and stop. All right, so we got our little crease in there, and it's looking okay. So we'll say that's good. We'll turn off Clayoo. We'll select this one. Go back to transform, go to mirror, and then hit enter. And now we can kind of play around with these, get them where we want them. And if you want to break mirror a little bit, maybe take this one where we want it up a little bit, and maybe we want this one out a little bit. So now we broke history, so we can move them individually. We can rotate it if you want. However you want to set it up, right? And you can actually go in and make it a little longer too. However you want to. All right, so we have everything kind of laid out here. There's only one other thing that I want to do. Is I want to take this one and go to rotate. I'm just going to hit F4, hold down shift, and I just want to bend this one up something like that, right? So it's more toward our, let's go back, right click F4 and bend it up so that it kind of goes with that there. And then we can get rid of this one and go back to our mirror, this object here, hit enter, and there we go. We have our little ribbon. Cool. All right, so now what we need to do is get it out of the way and maybe scale it down because we don't need it so big. So I'm going to hold down Shift and grab that 3D box there and just kind of make it a little smaller, and it still have some good meat on it, and I'll drag it up out of the way. So it's up there. All right, and I'll grab all my curves. Not that, oh, let's go ahead and change these to another color so I don't delete them by accident. Grab all my yellow, change to gray. All right, now we need to get starting to work on our rings. So let's get our ring out there. We'll go to tools, grab a ring rail, and we'll just keep the size 7 there. And let's see. I think the best way to do it is with Smart Flow, because that way we can go back and continue to manipulate it. You can do a flow, but you won't be able to change the shank up once you get it out there. With doing Smart Flow, you'll be able to keep going back and changing the shank to get whatever style you want. So I'm going to right click on my line curve so I get from both sides. Turn on my snap so I have quad snap, and then just kind of hold down. I'm just going to draw a much bigger surface than what I actually need, and we'll go to surface, sweep 1 from here to here, and then right click and then right click again, and we'll just turn this to a white or this bright color here, because just so that we know it's not going to be anything that we're really going to use. And let's drag this up a little bit more. Let's go back, select that. Let's go to transform actually, and go to auto base and select this, and then hit enter. We have this, and we'll just kind of center it up and drag it up out of the way, right? And we'll take that and turn it to our ground plane, and we'll go back to a line curve, right? And get a line and go from mid to mid. All right, so now we can take our item here and we can kind of place it up kind of where we want it. Let's take a look, see where I got it. Let's go to wireframe so I can see through everything. And if we want it in the center, that's somewhere around here. Or if we want the bow to come in, let's go ahead and group this together. That would probably be easier. We can kind of center it up to the bow, something like that. All right, and we need to drag it up just a little bit for right now so we can kind of work on the shank, right? So we have this. Let's go ahead and grab this curve here and go to our tools and go put a profile on there. And we want to swing that around, and we'll just activate auto sweep. And we don't need it so thick going through there. 3 millimeters, we'll take it to 2.5. And our height, we'll take that to 2.5 as well. And we'll just go ahead and accept that, right? Now we can go ahead and start manipulating this even more. Maybe we want to make it a little thicker there in that direction. However you want, right? And we can ungroup it and manipulate them individually if we want to too. So let's do the transform. Let's see what it looks like. So we'll go to Smart Flow, and I think it's going to be upside down, maybe, because I did not flip the seam curves. Let's go ahead and take a look. Oh, no, it's okay. And there we go. And we can hide this surface, and we have our item out here. Nice little bow ring. And we can continue to manipulate it over here. Maybe we want that bow a little wider. So you can kind of, maybe we want it a little thinner this way. So there's lots you can do there, and keep on manipulating it, right? Pretty cool. Yeah. All right. And let's go ahead. Right now, these are still NURB surfaces, right? So in order to do, well, first, before I start going there, let's go ahead and just show you this. So right now, if you do a flow or flow along curve, right, you could do that as well. But you wouldn't have the option to be able to go back many, many times and select different profiles to change up the shank, right? you wouldn't get those options to really change it around a lot. And doing it this way, you can go in here and select many different options to get different shanks on it, and keep going back and selecting that curve and keep editing it, right? I'll just change it one more time here. We'll do this thing right here real quick and then click. So doing it this way, you can change that up very quickly. All right. And I would jab bag it here so you can continue to come back to it at any time and re-alter it. So let's keep moving forward here. So let's show some other things here. We have this all grouped together. Let's ungroup this, right? And we have these surfaces that are meshes. The best thing to do is go ahead and select one, go back to Clayoo and activate Clayoo. And then, I don't think you have to activate it, but it'll activate itself. And then change to NURBS, right? Select items to change to NURBS. And we'll just change this one to NURB. And you should probably keep it, but I'm going to hit no. Right? And then now we have a poly surface out there, right? Okay, and then we need to probably do this one here. So let's ungroup this here real quick. Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and get rid of this, and take this one and go to convert NURBS. And we'll just do no on this one as well. So now we have a poly curve out there for that one too. So we can get rid of all this here. And I don't think there's any NURBS meshes. Yeah, I guess there are. Let's take the meshes and put them off to the side, and we'll go ahead and select them and hide them. All right, so here's our poly curves, or poly surfaces rather now. And we can take those and go back to transform, mirror, and then hit enter, and then you can ungroup them. And maybe you want to turn on my gumball there. Maybe you wanted to manipulate that one a little bit differently or whatever, right? But they're all poly curves or poly surfaces. Everything's a poly surface. And now we can do that flow from here to here. And then our objects, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then flow that on there. And then right click and do all your manipulation that you want to do at this point before you start joining everything together. And I think that's all good to go. Yeah. So we'll just go ahead and take this whole thing and turn it to this yellow layer and turn it off. And we'll turn off this here. And we'll go over here to our smart select all curves. Well, we don't want to get rid of our ring shank, so let's just go ahead and grab that thing and put him on a different layer. All right, now we have all poly surfaces out here, so let's ungroup it. Everything should be separate. And what we want to do is start joining everything together. So Boolean union, right? This be our first surface, enter. This is our second surface, enter, and make sure we don't have any dupes out there or anything. And then right click. This will be our first surface, enter. This will be our second surface, enter, and just make sure we don't have any dupes. Right click. This will be our first surface, enter, second surface, enter, and enter. No dupes. Right click. This surface here, enter. This surface here, enter, and just turn this off real quick and turn it back on. Okay, grab those, hide those. Oh, we'll just change those to another layer. Yeah, this one. All right, so that's all one surface, and we have a closed poly surface. Now we need to get this shank in order, right? So what we can do here is go to Boolean difference, right? We'll select this is our first surface, enter. This is our second surface as our cutter, and enter. And enter. And is that tied together? Yeah, it is. It's okay. Let's see. We can go back to our Boolean. We'll need to readjust that anyway, right? So take this. My gumball keeps turning off. And we can take that down a little. Yeah. Maybe this will clean it up a little. It's that right there. I think that was causing the issue. Let's check out this side over here. Yeah, we can bring that over a little. Something like that, perhaps. Now let's try that Boolean difference, except this time, and I know it's not going to disappear this time, so I'll take this one, and we'll just go ahead, just in case, and duplicate it in place, and turn it to this color here, and turn it off. All right, so we'll do the Boolean difference. This will be our first surface, enter. This will be our second surface, enter, and wait for it, and then enter, and then we can take this. See, it didn't do it, and we'll go ahead and hide that. And all right, take this, ungroup it, and we can get rid of these pieces here. We don't need these pieces. And we'll bring it back. Show. And to get it all one surface, we'll do a Boolean union. This enter, and wait for it. And boom, it disappeared on me. So we'll go back, we'll abort that. Check our surfaces, closed. Okay, so now they're kind of maybe all butted up or whatever. So we should be able just to take this, go here, and go at a negative 0.01 maybe, and then hit enter. So it just kind of drops down in there just a smidge. And now we'll do that Boolean union. This is our first surface, enter, and this is our second surface, enter. And let's see if it does it this time, and it does. Sometimes you just have to move that just ever so slightly to get them to work. And this one is not part of our thing, so we'll take it, put it down on this layer here, and now we have a closed polysurface ring where we are finished. Got a nice little bow ring going on. But you can do a lot with this. There's a lot more. I just don't have the time to show it. And I'm sure you're already bored with watching. So hopefully this helps. And if it does, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. But it's not a little bad little item there. Good designing.